One of the ways in which we can all get plasticity at any stage throughout the lifespan is through deficits and impairments in what we call our sensory apparatus, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth. And there are some very dramatic and somewhat tragic examples of people, for instance, who have genetic mutations where they are born without a nose and without any olfactory structures in the brain, so they cannot smell. In that case, areas of the brain that normally would represent smell become overtaken by areas of the brain involved in other things like touch and hearing and sight. In individuals that are blind from birth, the so-called occipital cortex, the visual cortex in the back, becomes overtaken by hearing. The neurons there will start to respond to sounds as well as braille touch. And actually, there's one particularly tragic incident where a woman who was blind since birth, and because of neuroimaging studies, we knew her visual cortex was no longer visual. It was responsible for braille reading and for hearing. She had a stroke that actually took out most of the function of her visual cortex. So then she was blind. She couldn't braille read or hear. She did recover some aspect of function. Now, most people, they don't end up in that highly unfortunate situation. And what we know is that, for instance, blind people who use their visual cortex for braille reading and for hearing have much better auditory acuity and touch acuity, meaning they can sense things with their fingers and they can sense things with their hearing that typical sighted folks wouldn't be able to. And that tells us that the brain, and in particular this area we call the neocortex, which is the outer part, is really designed to be a map of our own individual experience, not some other body plan. But the beauty of the situation is that the real estate up in the skull, that neocortex, the essence of it is to be a customized map of experience.